The Digest Show. Hit it!
Joshua, welcome to season 2!
Yeah, baby!
How pumped are you?
Oh, I'm fucking here for it, son. Let's do this.
Ding, ding, motherfucking ding. It's fight night, my dude.
Oh, yes. We got a heavyweight bout, baby.
Just so everyone is prepared, the cheese is on.
Oh, yeah. The puns are going to fly.
We got a theme tonight. It's fight night. We got a heavyweight bout. We got 2 boxing movies. We got 2 plights of amazingly powerful men of color, amazing athletes, amazing cultural icons, and we're going to pit them against each other.
Ooh.
And we're going to have fucking fun.
We're going to have a lot of fun.
So what we're doing,
these guys.
admiring the performances,
Yes.
the athletes,
Yep.
the filmmaking.
Yes.
This is a different kind of program, and I hope you all are pumped because we're really fucking pumped.
We're pumped.
So what we're doing today is we're putting up the Hurricane versus Ali.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
And fortunately for the listeners, 2 natural camps have formed.
This is true. This is
This
true.
is
We're
true.
gonna. You could say we're gonna go toe to toe.
A tete, if you will. So welcome to Fight Night. We're super
Yes.
pumped to do this one. We're really fucking excited. So I thought about maybe like not telling everyone what's going on here, but I think it's really cool what happened. Josh really gravitated towards Denzel Washington's performance in The Hurricane and that film in general. It really spoke to him. And I'm a glossy ass Hollywood motion picture motherfucker. So I gravitated towards Ali, though that's not to say I don't have some issues with the film. I love Michael Mann. I love a good time. I love a 30-minute intro, no dialogue, and all Sam Cooke. Okay, so
You're right.
So this is kind of the vibe. It's loose, but it's true.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is, and it's like, I think it's cool because like, okay, let's just use a diagram, like a Venn diagram, as like a kind of a visual example for the people listening. Like, our Venn diagram's gonna overlap quite a bit, but there's definitely some hanging out there on the wings. You know that
Well, we have one
might
conversation
spar over
before.
a few things.
You need to pace yourself. You're on the ropes in the first round right now.
No, I'm gonna take it. Don't worry, I got plenty.
So in our conversations prepping for today's episode, we kind of just realized like that's what was going on. So we're gonna roll with it. I just thought off the cuff. What do you remember? What's your first memory of The Hurricane? Because I'd never seen this film.
Yeah, so my first memory of The Hurricane is watching it I guess 99 film, so it probably would have been a few years after it came out, and I would have watched it on cable. It would have been a daytime, like, weekend cable movie.
Kind of a cable movie.
Yeah, you could say that. I think it...
Here we go. First
I mean,
blows.
yeah, you want to throw first blows. Like, when I think cable movie, I don't think of, like, Oscar-nominated performance. That's the first thing that I would say. Like, and we're going to get to it, but, like, Denzel, this is not a... Look, if this is a cable movie, let's just make one thing clear. Denzel's performance is not a cable movie performance. It's so worth watching that it's like,
so good.
Yeah. So
It's
to me,
far and away the best part of the film.
oh yeah, for sure, no doubt. And I
Continue.
I do love the score and the soundtrack too, but we'll get there. Yeah. So I watched it as a kid, and I remember being like really mixed up over the plot of that movie, like. But I was really into it at the same time because it had that like courtroom drama vibe that I've always been a fan of that since I was a kid. And the story really stuck with me. And honestly, this movie is probably the thing that introduced me to Bob Dylan because it's my favorite Bob Dylan song. And I heard this and then I kind of like, as I got a little older, I looked at the story and I realized like, this is a real story. Like this man went through this. And I mean, like, I don't know. Yeah. So I guess that's my first, it's kind of an awakening kind of a film, you know, like as a young man seeing that it sticks with you. Yeah.
What about Ali?
Same. I mean, kind of similar. Like I remember, so again, young man, I watched Ali when it came out. Like, I'm pretty sure that the moms picked it up from the video store and we watched it like,
Could see your mom being into that.
like right after, she was a huge Muhammad Ali fan, big time.
Yeah.
And well, she was a big boxing fan, but But anyway, I remember watching that one and just like that movie set me on fucking fire, dude. I fell in love with Muhammad Ali. He was everything I wanted to be. He was so confident and so capable. And I had the fucking 3 foot by 4 foot poster of him in the Liston fight, with just with the hand across the chest. Like, oh man, and I like it was right above my bed. Like it was like the thing. Like I'll come home at the end of the day and lay my head down. And I like last thing I see before I lay down is Muhammad Ali like in victory. And the guy just like in sticking up for what he believed in stuck with me too, because that was kind of my formative years as a young man, like kind of deciding what kind of person you're gonna be, And I'd say these movies affected me in that way.
I think that's great. I could see Muhammad Ali especially. I think both of them being a confluence of influences on your character, because personally, like, you're a convicted man, but you're also very confident, and you back up what you talk the talk and you walk the walk.
You making me blush over here.
And like, well, I love you. And Hurricane's about a convicted man.
Yeah, it is.
Convicted in both in a wrong way and in a very right way. And Ali is about the most walk the walk, talk to talk public figure that may have ever lived. So
yeah, and I've got more to say about those two characters and their influence on me, like when we get into the meat of it a little bit more. But like, definitely you can't go without saying my first memories are like both these movies stamped me. And Ali, I think at the time when I first saw these films, I think Ali hit me a little more, because I was able to I could digest Ali, whereas Hurricane was a little bit more above my, intellectual pay grade at that time in my life. I mean, I would have been like 11 years old when I saw it,
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
I, as far as Ali goes, I remember my parents renting it from Blockbuster.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't allowed to watch it. And I wasn't allowed to watch it because afterwards I asked them, like, what? That's the Ali movies, fucking Will Smith. Like, what's going on? And they're like,
yeah,
there's too much sex in this movie. And after I watched it for this episode, my thought was, there's just like a little too much sex in this movie. And as far as Hurricane goes, my first memory, I mean, I'm huge music nut, as anybody who knows me know, and like I've heard the song Hurricane probably 1,000 times since I was 12 years old. So I knew the story of Reuben Carter, and I knew Dylan's involvement and all of that. But that's really where I stood. I'd never seen the film before, but I've always wanted to see it. I'm such a big Denzel fan. So yeah, I was stoked we did it. Do you want to trade some blows and do some back of the box?
Let's back of the box. This is it.
You go first.
Oh, okay. All right. So forgive me if I get tongue tied here. And again, we'll just say, if you haven't seen it, join us. So, in the role that earned him Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, Denzel Washington stars in the true story of Reuben Hurricane Carter, a man who, in the prime of his boxing career, finds himself wrongfully convicted of murder. Sentenced to life in prison, Carter publishes a memoir that inspires a teenager from Brooklyn and 3 Canadian activists to join forces and shed light on the truth. In the ultimate fight for justice, the Hurricane is one man's inspirational journey to prove his innocence and gain back his freedom. And that's a good fucking back of the box right there.
I can't argue with a fight for freedom.
No, you can't. And it really is like, I just think that that's a really good back of the box to kind of tell the story, like a micro version of the story of this film.
Yeah, I think that when I first settled into it, I was looking for a boxing film and a sports film. It's really not, like, at all.
Yeah, it's got some vibes in it, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's really about this man's story and his.
That's it.
Yeah, that's what it's really about.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take Ali from Digest Show debut, Michael Mann.
Right.
Not a big deal.
Yeah, Michael Mann's in the house, feeling the heat.
Join me. What's that?
I'm feeling the heat.
Feeling the heat. Ellipsis. All right, join me on the back of the box. Superstar Will Smith gives the performance of his career as boxing legend Muhammad Ali in a visually amazing epic drama from Academy Award nominated director Michael Mann. Muhammad Ali thrilled the world with his groundbreaking boxing victories in the 60s and 1970s, but the man behind the legend is grappling with tumultuous romantic life, his deeply held religious beliefs, and the pressures of staying on top. A quick-witted, winning personality and strong friendships with close associates, including renowned newscaster Howard Cosell, help Ali float like a butterfly and sting like a motherfucking bee. But faced with a life-changing conflict outside the ring, he famously opinionated boxer is forced to rely on the one person he knows best, himself.
There you go.
That's a good back of the box.
It is. It's a good back of the box. It's a good movie. Great movie.
It's a good movie.
It's a good movie about the greatest.
He's the greatest.
He's the greatest.
So what we're going to do today on the show is, like I said, we're leaning into the cheese, into the theme, and we're going to break this program into the stages of a fight. So to start it off, we're going to start with the weigh-in.
Damn.
You a chump! Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Ah! Rumble, young man,
What
rumble.
we're going to talk about first is Reuben Carter versus Muhammad Ali. And obviously, comparing those two as fighters is not really fair. But what we kind of want to talk about is their stories, and the similarities, the differences, and just have a conversation about these two men and what they went through. It's kind of hard to compare them, but their stories are comparative, and we can have a conversation about them. Why don't you start off with Reuben Carter?
Yeah, I mean, so to kind of throw it back to what we were just talking about and what I referred to earlier, when I first watched this movie, it stuck with me for sure. And like I said, Ali really is the one that inspired me, kind of set me on fire. But like rewatching these movies to do this podcast and throw some love to these two movies, it was Reuben Carter that actually inspired me far more, because I realized like the Ali story is the story of like standing up for what you believe in, like, and that's in itself is huge. That's an amazing act of courage. But Reuben's story is more of like the story of withstanding like unjust treatment, which is kind of a different grain of thing, you know. And I think the way that man was able to carry himself with such fucking dignity and integrity and never bend and never allow himself to give in to, you know, to mark himself like a guilty man, as he would kind of say it, you know, never mark himself as guilty man.
I'm not wearing these clothes of
Yeah.
an inmate because I'm not guilty and I'm not an inmate.
Yeah.
I take in the shower because it signifies that I'm a ward of this building, because the only way I'm taking this shower is if you give me the correct clothes, like things like that. Like, he was a man of principle. There's, you know, obviously, as far as the scales go, the Hurricanes got the song, the Dylan song.
Yeah.
And there's many lyrics in that song that are beautiful and memorable. But the one that makes me think of Reuben the most, and kind of when I was watching the film, I kept thinking about when he was committed to his mind and his body and truth and staying the course, was and Reuben sits like Buddha in a 10-foot cell.
That's it. And you
That's it.
see that. You see that in this film, and that really does kind of sum up what hit me this time is like, trust me, I mean, both of these men were in impeccable physical shape. They were incredible athletes. I mean, you know, Reuben Carter didn't really get to have a boxing career as lengthy or as full as Muhammad Ali by any circumstance, but in his short-lived career, he did have a knack for like winning fights in first rounds, like, and he had a knack for like knocking dudes out quickly. And he was kind of a beast. So
he had 40 career fights. He didn't, you know, at first when I first started getting into this, because of the song mostly, honestly, I thought maybe he was like a young guy and he was like at the precipice of his prime, perhaps, when all this happened. But in reality, he was in trouble with the law early on. But that's not that he did anything wrong. It was just his environment, enrolled in the army, boxed in the army, and then had 40 professional fights, became a middleweight contender, had some really high profile battles with people. And yeah, just couldn't stay out of trouble, mostly because of the area in New Jersey that he lived in, the color of his skin, and all his cards were marked in advance, as Bob says.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the other part of it is because he talks early when he's in prison, he's talking about before he goes to prison for the murder, he has to do some time from something that happened when he was a kid, and he talks about how he's going to turn his body into a weapon and he's going to become a warrior scholar. And then when he goes
inspiring shit.
It is. And when he goes to prison for the second time, he really becomes more of a scholar. And he has this vibe about him that it's just, I don't know, man, this guy really inspires the fucking shit out of me, because the word transcend is used so much in that movie. Mostly by him, but it's a great word for what he did. I mean, because obviously he's reading, and I'm not even going to attempt some titles because I don't want to be ignorant, but because I am ignorant, I don't want to reveal that. But, he's reading memoirs of other intellectuals who have been imprisoned. He's reading Eastern religion. He's reading about meditation. He's reading about Buddhism, and he's talking about how he is not going to allow them to take away his dignity. He's going to change what he wants and what he needs, because his punishment is that they're taking away what they think he wants and needs. So he's going to sleep when the other prisoners are up, and he's going to be asleep. He's going to wake when they're asleep, and he's going to sit in his cell overnight and fucking meditate, and he's going to go away from his cell, and he's just going to be somewhere else with his mind. And that's so fucking powerful. Like, that shit is so incredible. And I don't know. Yeah, it just inspires me. Sorry, I feel like I could fucking talk for a year because I haven't watched this movie in a fucking decade or more. Fucking shit. Holy shit. 2 decades. I forgot how old I am.
We're
30.
old.
Yeah, we're fucking old. So I haven't watched this movie in a really long time, and like, just this guy's story just fucking hits. Like, it's so touching. It really is.
Yeah, I just keep coming back to the end. Reuben sits like Buddha in a 10-foot cell, and then you watch the film, and like literally what you're just saying, he's plotting his entire being against the antithesis of what they think they're holding him accountable for.
Yes.
In totality, that is just like, I just have goosebumps. When you were talking about that, I was just like,
and he also, and it's like the layer on top of it all too, is he like, not only will he refuse to allow them to punish him, but he refuses to allow them to provide for him. He hustles his way into cans of fucking soup and rigs fucking light bulb heaters.
Heat the water up
to boil water. It's like, he won't live off of them either. He won't even let them take care of him. He's that, and it's like, it's so fucking impressive. It just really is. And it's the conviction that you would feel like a truly innocent man would have if they were in that situation.
How else would you stay focused on that if acting and committing your life to not even acting, but behaving and living like a free, uninhibited man,
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. It's intense stuff. And it just, I don't know. And it's like at a different part in the life, and I do think that there are definitely some flaws in the film. But I think that,
oh, of course, yeah,
Reuben's story with Denzel doing it is enough to make that story just be so fucking riveting,
What did I text you a couple days ago? I said, I got a hot take.
Hot take.
Denzel Washington is really good at acting, and Michael Mann makes really fun movies.
Yep, for sure.
But seriously, we'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll get there. So
shocking.
Anyway, sorry.
Keep going, dude. Check off your list. I want to hear more about it. How you feel?
The other thing I would just want to say is I'll say a couple of things about Ali, because I know we're going to kind of get there as well in that guy's story. But I think what I found really interesting about watching the two together, I want to say that before I let you take it away. But these two stories are so similar in so many ways. Like, and it's so they do, in my mind, a good job of putting out a story of like what people in this country have had to deal with for so long and what they still deal with today in various ways, very similar ways, you know? And these two guys, both these people that it's just interesting that they were both fighters and they both were so principled and kind of stood up for what they felt was right, even when it wasn't easy, you know?
Yeah, there are two things about Muhammad Ali that I don't think a lot of he might be one of the most culturally important and popular icons of the 20th century. Might be, I would say, top 3 easy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
He is the epitome of confidence and strength and really like the American dream. But there are two things about him that I don't think so I was lucky enough to do a 3rd grade book report on Cassius Clay. Right. And I learned about all this shit about Muhammad Ali, as a lot of young American kids do. And this his faith and his political views and how that influenced a multitude of his decisions. His relationship with Don King and really wanting an African fight in the later part of his career is so huge. I would say less than half of people know about all of that about Muhammad Ali. Is that bold to say?
No, I think that's probably pretty fair. I mean, especially people our age, I would say. Older
because
folks,
that shit's washed. It's hard to explain and talk about, and people don't want to talk about it. And I think that he's so popular and such an icon that people are like, yeah, we don't really want to talk about the Muslim thing and the Malcolm X thing. And
I would think not. Actually, I'll take you a step. I'll raise you, man. I think it's probably likely that the majority, like even if it's 51%, right, of people don't even know that the dude's boxing career was interrupted, like that he had to take time off in his prime. Fuck the because. I doubt they even know that his career was just even interrupted, that he didn't just like straight fight and like.
So like the thing about Muhammad Ali's boxing career is the astonishing thing is that his literal prime, which is set out in the movie, this is a heavyweight's prime, what you're gambling with these years of your life, and he forfeited the prime of his life as a professional athlete because he refused to fight in a war he saw no reason to fight in. Mm-hmm. So no Viet Cong has ever called me the N-word.
Yeah.
Why the hell am I going over there to spread blood when it has nothing to do with me? Yeah. And he's rich, he's famous, he's handsome as fuck, he's charming, and he's like, this is not right.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking going. I'm not going. I'm entering in 4 years of legal litigation and losing money and going from being at the top of the cultural and sports world to borrowing money from my wife's dad.
Yeah.
I don't think people understand the ups and downs of that, for sure.
Well, I mean, and the man got tried and prosecuted and convicted for refusing to go to war. You know, he got all of that stuff. Like, and then it eventually got overturned by the Supreme Court. That is true, but rightfully so. But like, then you think, oh, we have future presidents of the country who like have bone spurs out of fucking nowhere and don't have to go to Vietnam. I mean, like, what the fuck is that shit, right? It's so insane the way and it was like really, not only did they hate him because he was black, but they hated him because he was Muslim, and they hated him because he was fucking great. He was better than any of them. He was
fucking great.
Not only he was great in so many ways too. His not only just in the ring, in the ropes, but outside. He was the specimen of confidence and focus and determination and publicity. He knew what he was doing in all facets.
I think people take people like that for granted. In fact, we've had a private conversation recently about, you know, Bob Dylan and things like that. And I think that, and I said, I think people take Bob Dylan for granted. I know that's ridiculous to say, but I think people take Muhammad Ali for granted. I don't think they understand. Like the second thing that I referenced earlier that I don't know if the majority of the public knows about his fighting style. This motherfucker is the toughest son of a bitch I've ever seen in my life. His style was get your ass kicked. Talk shit the whole time. let this dude tire himself out, and then take him out.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Ali was a warrior, and he was really, really good at it. He was really good at fighting. And he knew what he was doing, and he knew
how tough he was, because he's tall and handsome, and he's light skinned. You know that has something to do with it. And he's talking, and but I don't think they know how tough he was. Like, he wasn't just like float like a butterfly, sting like the bee. Like, he's taking a fucking beating.
He is, but it's like he's either letting you wear yourself out on him, or he's just not letting you hit him. That's Muhammad Ali. It just depends.
Either way is exhausting.
And it's like, I feel like he just is. That's what I mean, is like, he had all the tools in his tool belt, right? He didn't just have a hammer. You know, he had it all, and he just okay, it's like a video game. Like, you just you hit a fucking, I don't play video games, so this is gonna sound stupid. You hit some button and you switch your gun or whatever, and the thing from the screens.
He just had the whole arsenal.
Yeah, he's just like hitting buttons. He's like, all right, I'll play with the rifle this round. Like, fuck it, whatever.
I believe he had like 5 professional losses, and 3 of them were past the age of 37.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
2 of them were not commissioned in the United States. Like, he was fighting for money for charity and shit, and like his own ego. Like, he already had Parkinson's in his last fight.
Yeah, and then one of them, I mean, when he lost his first loss was Frazier, right? When Frazier beat him, right?
Yeah, Frazier won. He won Frazier 2 and 3, but he lost Frazier 1.
Yeah, and the thing is like, I was thinking about that rewatching this movie. It's like, this dude was undefeated until Frazier beat him, and Frazier did beat him, right? But why did Frazier beat him? Because he had to take time off. He wasn't like,
he was off for like 4 years.
Yes,
and he was just like at the beach. He was fighting for his fucking life.
Yeah, trying to stay afloat, trying to like provide for his family, like make money, do something, you know.
You know what I thought was interesting? I was reading today that Frazier beat him, or after Frazier lost to him the second time, Frazier said the words hurt more than the beating did, because Ali was calling him like an Uncle Tom and shit in the press.
Yeah.
He's playing with his fucking head.
Was.
Frazier and Ali were amicable. Like, there's a scene in the film where Joe picks him up in the car, and they're like, and that was, I don't know if that scene is particularly accurate, but they weren't friends, but they were very respectful, and they could be in the same room together. What does he say? You don't look like the world heavyweight champ. You look like the world heavyweight champ of pimps. Joe, for coats and stuff like that.
Yep.
And then for Ali just to turn around in the press and but he's doing it. He got his fucking head.
Yeah, he's doing it. And plus, I think, Frazier beat him. And I think he needed to make sure that didn't happen again. Like,
it didn't 2 times.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So I don't know. Ali, just again, this dude's just so inspiring. Like, just so inspiring as a individual, And yeah, I don't know. Fucking love Ali, man.
We could wax poetic on the guy.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, we totally could just sit here forever.
I think as like young men, I think as Americans too, like as sports fans, like I think Ali's number 1.
All right, I like that. Wait, like you mean
culturally?
Like, okay, yeah. I feel that vibe. I do think he's definitely, yeah. I mean, I do, especially because the time that he got. I mean, you can make a case for a couple of other people, but I don't think. I mean, he's definitely like
obviously Serena's up there, Mike's up there, obviously.
Well, I think Mike just goes by the wayside for like other reasons. Like, I think you never mind. That's a different podcast, but like. The guy he's a definition of something, and culturally I don't think. Yeah, I don't know.
So we have a cultural icon versus a cultural Buddha, if you will. 2 men who are up against the fucking grain. That was fun, man.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the main card. the fight.
Talk to him, Jimmy.
Reuben.
Talk to them. Talk
Reuben,
to them.
tell me
I
what's
ain't taking
going
no
on.
shit. You better
Reuben,
talk to him.
calm down.
I
It's
know
me, Jimmy.
him.
Come here and talk to me.
I ain't taking
Reuben,
no
calm
shit
down. Calm
in
down.
here.
Take it easy.
So, if we're being honest with ourselves, the real conversation we want to have about these two films is talking about the two performances from our principal leads. And that's Denzel Washington. Excuse me. Denzel motherfucking
Fucking-
Washington.
Yes, pronounce it
Yeah.
right.
And Will Smith. Excuse me. Will box office blockbuster Smith.
This is true. This is true. This is true.
Plenty of bombs in his career, but
Well-
still.
Let's just start something with, okay. I'm gonna take 13 seconds. I'm predicting here, and I'm gonna read.
Come out of your corner, baby.
I'm gonna read a string of Denzel films.
God damn it, I love Denzel.
Okay, that this is from when he started kind of making movies in the late 80s, early 90s with
Preacher's
Glory.
Wife?
Glory's the first one.
Glory.
Okay. Ending in 2001. Okay, from Glory to 2001, this guy makes Glory, Mo Better Blues, Malcolm X, Philadelphia, The Hurricane, Remember the Titans, and Training Day. What a fucking G. Holy
run.
shit.
Have you
Holy
seen
fucking
Philadelphia?
shit. Yes.
Oh
Yes,
my God.
The only film on that list that I have not seen, sadly, is Mo Better Blues, which I will be watching in short fucking order.
It's great. I've seen
Like,
that.
I mean, seriously, like, what a fucking run of films. My God. You could put that against any actor in this guy's generation. Any.
I watched as you know, and I think maybe people who listen regularly know that I'm a YouTube guy. I'm a millennial. I got a short attention span. I relax with YouTube. And I was watching a YouTube of Denzel Washington acceptance speech, and he was like, back in an acting class and whatever, institution he was at, they went around the room and he said, "I'm going to be the best actor of my generation." And they looked at me like I was crazy. And then he just held out the trophy and he was like,
Kind of there. I mean,
his performance in this movie is astonishing.
It's
Like when
like-
he's holding the payphone against the window.
yes.
Ah!
No, like, dude, his greatest fucking moment, and it's the face acting award of the episode dude, in that solitary confinement scene, which I want to unpack it a little bit later, but that shit is fucking, dude, I can't.
Got like Les Mis vibes, dude.
I mean, it's fucking insane. The guy, the fucking emotion, the range that guy wears on his fucking face and in his eyes, Like, I just think, like, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Please.
I was just going to say, like, I was just thinking today, like, who are the two, who could you put up against him in his generation? Like, you get George Clooney, Tom Hanks, maybe, as two people who rival this, like, I mean, but even then, I think.
Wait. Can we back up for a second?
Sure.
Because those two people are America's darlings.
Yeah,
They
they are.
like fucking. They're Hollywood superstars, but Denzel's a fucking artist.
That's what I'm saying. They're all Oscar winners, but I don't think Tom Hanks nor George Clooney have put together a string of films in fucking 10 to 12 years
I mean, I'm not a rap.
I'm sure that there are like. I'm
dude
sure.
is speaking in rhyme live off the tip of his tongue on live television.
Yeah, I'm sure he's gotten credit somewhere, and if not, but see, I'll tell you, I said you're the music guy. I have found in my life that whenever you dive into the world of music with people, with real people who like want to act that way, they'll always be like, well, actually, there was this guy who lived in this city that Muhammad Ali got it from, and it's like, that's cool.
Muhammad Ali's from Louisville, Kentucky. I'm pretty much 100% positive that he didn't pick up that skill from someone in fucking Kentucky.
No, yeah, I feel you. I'm just making a comment on like, I don't like to get into the weeds, but I'm sure
I'll fucking put my neck out there. I'm pretty sure Muhammad Ali like invented rap music. That's all I'm saying.
We have
the spoken word and an expression that is being a black fucking man full of bravado and up against the fucking world. I think that's like, fair.
I think that anybody who looks at the history of hip hop would be
remiss.
Yeah, to not. I mean, look at the attitude, the vibe that Ali put off, and not be able to draw a connection to someone like Kanye West. Get the fuck out of here.
I was in third grade when I drew that comparison.
Yeah.
I've just never been able to say it on a microphone on the internet, so I was excited to say it out loud.
Third grade. You heard it here, okay? He was in third fucking grade, okay? He's a genius, certified.
Oh, fuck off.
It's a joke.
Let's get back to Will's performance.
So, my point, I want to give Will some slack. He's portraying Ali, worldwide known. Reuben Carter, people knew him, but nobody got to spend an intimate amount of time. Reuben Carter was not splashed all over TV screens talking. Reuben Carter did not have a distinctive, very unique cadence to his voice, that was needing to be mimicked. Like I think the climb for Will Smith was way fucking higher to go.
Can I change my tone a little bit?
Yeah.
Change my tone. I'm so proud of Will Smith. Like, how do I get this sincere? I'm really fucking proud of Will Smith. I'm so proud of Will Smith.
Will Smith don't need you proud.
I'm Ali because I'm really proud of Will Smith.
That one sounded better. I like that. I like that.
Will Smith.
I like that. We're getting more sincere as we go. I like it.
No, he does such a good job, and
he does. He really does.
Like the boxing scenes are incredible, dude.
Well, it's just I think the only thing that leaves any like veil of not pushing this over the edge is just the fact that it's just not Ali. We have Ali. We have video of Ali. Right. We can watch it. It's just not Ali, but it's so goddamn good.
Flowing with my response, but I'm gonna ebb and flow back. It's almost like the best. You go to the theme park, and it's like the best impersonator you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah,
that's what this is, and that's saying something.
It is.
That's fucking impressive.
It is. You're right.
But the way you put that is perfect. That he's like. I don't need any context for Muhammad Ali. That's asking a lot of a performer, man.
It is. And plus Ali had such a distinctive look. Like it's hard. It's just hard to do that. I mean, but the guy Denzel Washington had to learn how to box, which he probably already knew, right? He had to learn to box.
Denzel Washington had to learn to box from like the chest up.
Yeah.
Will Smith looks like a fucking athlete.
Yes, that's my point. He had to learn the footwork because you can't play like we were talking about this. Like you were saying, I basically know like the summary of all of the Ali fights.
There's like 3 phases.
There are Ali freaks out there who know every movement he made in these films, and the way that Michael Mann makes films and the way that they pursued this whole thing, that those fights are like basically dead on. He's doing yes, and when he's bobbing and weaving, like that shit's real.
I watched the Foreman fight of the film about an hour before we got on.
Yep.
And then I was like, not for the podcast, but I was like, what's the top 10 Ali like knockouts or moments?
Fucking hype.
I want to watch this. And the Foreman knockout's number 1 because it was so astonishing and such a big deal when it happened. And like I just watched the film, and it's a movement for movement reenactment.
Yeah.
And how Foreman falls to the ground, and Mo is just like his signature move was standing over someone. Fuck you, I'm the greatest. And he didn't do that in that fight. He kind of waited to see if George would get up.
He needed to
and I
know.
noticed that in the movie, and he does that in real life, and like the way that he kind of shoves him down, like this is reenactment, like move for move. Like
yeah.
Will must have been in fucking camp, like 10 hours a fucking day for months getting this shit fucking right. It's impressive.
He had to have trained hard. I mean, he gets fit. Like that guy's big. But
he doesn't have to get big though for the role of his life.
Wait, what?
Are we gonna do a podcast when he plays Barack Obama?
Oh yeah, he's gonna play Barry. He's gonna play Barry.
That's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Do I
Definitely
want
gonna
Will
happen.
Smith playing all of like the like African American icons in history? Like, is that too much to ask?
I mean, is he gonna play himself? Because that's basically where he's at. Because that's the thing. That's the difference to me. Like when you like look Denzel versus Will, it's like really what it comes down to is like Will Smith is almost like one of those America's Sweetheart type actors. Like he's more of
a Tom Hanks.
Yes.
He's like
absolutely.
He's the black Tom Cruise.
I don't like Tom Cruise, so
I know.
Yeah,
I think
that was unfair of you. I think sorry, Will Smith.
Will Smith, I'm very proud.
This show
I'm very
apologizes to you, Will Smith, for that comparison. Wow.
I'm really embarrassed. Every time you say Denzel Washington, I get excited.
Yeah, right?
And that's sincere. If you say Denzel, I'm like, fucking in.
Right?
Let's go. I don't care that Safe House sucked. I'm watching it.
Or that he's made like a string of cable movies. But again,
I love cable movies.
This motherfucker. Okay, a couple years ago it was Fences, right? That's like
a legacy project now. Come on.
Sure, but then a couple years before that, you get fucking American Gangster. Like this dude just does not stop.
He does. American Gangster?
No, I'm not hating. What I'm saying is like he was fucking nominated for Fences, was he not? I'm pretty sure he was nominated for Fences. Nominated for American Gangster. The dude, like, he goes on a fucking run like this, and then once every 10 years after that, he's like, yeah, I'll still put out some shit that's like, oh my God, Denzel.
Yeah, but I love that it's Safe House, American Gangster, or like The Preacher's Wife, Training Day. Like he's fucking. I need to make some money.
Yes. Oh yeah, you know.
And he played hoops in college. You know that, right?
I didn't know that.
He Got Game, like all those scenes of him draining those Jays.
Again, great movie. He Got Game, and that's in that string too.
Him draining those Jays in that movie. Fucking real.
I like that. That makes everything better. But of course, Denzel would be able to do that. He would.
Who are we picking though? This is the fight. Denzel will.
I don't know. We should save it for later, and we'll decide after we analyze everything.
Up next, our third and final installment, the scorecard.
Draft dodging, I ain't burning no flag, and I ain't running to Canada. I'm staying right here. You want to send me to jail? Fine, you go right ahead. I've been in jail for 400 years. I could be there for 4 or 5 more.
How did this fight turn out, my friend? Let's look at the film versus the film. Let's take a step back and look at each of these projects and pit them against one another. You can go first.
Okay,
Wait a second. Are those glasses thicker than normal?
No, they're normal. They're normal thickness.
Okay, proceed.
So I think I'm gonna start this by like making like I guess like opening argument for and against? Is that kind of like how you want to do this? Like, because I can do it.
Do what you got to do.
Okay. I think that the story of this battle between these two films comes down to the fact that Ali bit off, I think, more than it could chew as a project. And I'll tell you why. I think, first off, this movie, like you said, will we ever get another definitive Ali movie? And it's like, no, probably not. But I'm sad about that because
Was this
movie,
was this our only shot at it?
well, this movie makes me want to see either two different Ali movies, or like this one just should have been much longer. They should have just let it be. Like, it's already 2 hours and 30 minutes. The director's cut's 2:45. Like,
Even the I bought the director's cut and I was like, I'm strapping in for a 3-hour Michael Mann movie, and I didn't even get that.
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like it needed to be like 3:45. Honestly, if you're gonna try to unpack all this stuff, if you're gonna put all of the stuff with Malcolm,
It's even not packing all of that in. It's what they chose to pack in. The big thing that I'm with you. You haven't said this on the show right here, but I'll just out you. You were disappointed with the Malcolm X performance and its presence in the film, and I 100% agree with you on that. But that should have been included. What the reason with this film that I have qualms about it is the sex and the romance.
the relationships. Yes, I agreed.
I am a rock and roll fan. Not really interested in all my icons and fans, all their wives. I understand, or romantic relationships rather, not just women, but I wanted his plight with his faith. Like, that is way more interesting to me, and how he changes his name, and like, why do I need to like? They crammed way more into that shit than they.
And everything in his life gets a sideshow. Everything is a side dish. Everything. There's no main entree. The only thing that's the main entree is Ali, but you don't like his religious part only gets what it gets, which that includes Malcolm X. And I agree that has to be in there, but then his fighting career doesn't get as much attention as it should. And then his personal life outside of his religion doesn't get as much as it. So everything is kind of cut short to get it all in there to try to tell this story. And not only that, but like I said, just like with Will Smith having to like have a way bigger hill to climb with the fact that he's playing Ali, you also have Howard Cosell. You also have fucking Sam Cooke, Elijah Muhammad, Martin Luther King Jr., George Foreman, Joe Frazier, Don King. Like, you have to put all these people in there and make them all fucking convincing, right? Like, that's a big bill. It's a big bill.
I agree with you. That's a big thing to chew on, and that it was just too much. I didn't realize it was John Voight until the credits rolled.
Bro, right? What a spectacular. And honestly,
amazing.
One of my favorite things in this movie is just their friendship. Seriously, just the
do you think
friendship
that's
between.
real?
I bet you it was real. I could totally get the vibe.
Well, because Ali was he had to depend so much on publicity when he wasn't an active athlete, and having a relationship with someone in the media, I'm sure, was like vital.
I agree.
Yeah.
And listen, in today's time, we've all learned not to hold anybody to too high of esteem, because at any day, the door might open on something that just shatters that whole perception you had of them. But I'd like to believe that Howard Cosell was the kind of guy who was a sports guy. So he was just all inspired by the athlete that was Muhammad Ali. And then I think that I like to believe that he agreed with him about the Vietnam War, agreed with him about the fact that he was being treated he was basically being treated that way because he was Black Muslim who was against the Vietnam War, like all of this different stuff. And I like to believe that. So until further knowledge, I'll float around in that comfy place.
I can't believe they fucking.
It's bullshit.
Both of these movies just make me really upset.
Yeah, but it just like, because that these injustices are still happening today. Like, that. And it's
like
just
yesterday, today, tomorrow.
Yeah, it just makes you sick that there are people like in the world that can't understand, like, you just need to love people. Like, why is that so fucking hard for people? Like, love. Really. I don't know.
Thank you for that PSA.
Yeah.
Let's transition back to The Hurricane and talk about that film a little bit. I was super stoked when I first sat down to watch it, to obviously watch Denzel.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting that these films are only 3 years apart, because there seems to be a bigger gap to me aesthetically.
It's like, I mean, well, 99 and 01, so
3 years. 2 years.
yeah, I went to.
Anyway, my point is The
That's the
Hurricane
same point.
kind of has a more 90s vibe to it, and
It does.
And the storyline of the makeshift family and the young kid, it's not a big dramatic Hollywood motion picture.
No.
Which is just a completely different film than Ali is.
It is. I think a big contrast between the two is that, like, talking film talk, Hurricane has this like lyrical flow between timelines. Like it's not like you have two timelines and you flash back to one timeline and then you go back to this solid. It floats. It basically fills you in on
Floats
things.
like a
butterfly. In fact, it
Sorry.
does. No, but it like kind of lyrically, like it's almost like a piece of music where it will give you what you need when you need it. So like when the stories, because you're getting one straight story as you watch the film, but you're not getting one straight timeline. And I like the way that it gives you that like lyrical kind of flow between timelines, and like it jumps all the way back to his childhood. It's those kinds of things.
I really enjoyed.
I
enjoyed watching it. I loved watching it before 5 p.m. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm inherently a 65-year-old man, but I love watching movies in the afternoon. And this
We
is a
fucking
great
both
afternoon
are.
watch.
We
I
both
fucking love
are.
it.
Yeah, it is.
I was just like 2 p.m. day off, 2-hour boxing movie. Yes.
Yeah, and especially a movie about like a man's tribulation
Social
and like,
justice?
inspiring. Yeah,
Yes!
It's a total day movie. I feel you. And I think, and so, but the contrast I was gonna say to Ali though is Ali like moves. It moves fast and then it moves slow, right? Like, so it'll zoom through some stuff and then stop. But it's all straightforward, and it does kind of have that. So that's one difference I see in the films, just structurally.
I have one qualm. I have many qualms about Ali. I really do. Were you just doing an Ali with your mouth?
I was trying to psych you out. Like, I'm going to give the best commentary.
When they're the Thriller in Manila and they're in Africa and it's like Foreman gets cut, we need 6 weeks. And they interject like another romance thing. And then like 12 minutes later, he's walking out for the fight. And I'm like, was that 6 weeks? And I think that's an example of like the pacing of that film is fucked. It's not good.
It kind of has this like, this like a Christmas Carol vibe where it's like you're on a, I'm serious. Like you're on a train and it's like, it takes you like really fast and then it just stops and you like land here for a little while and then you like zoom again and you're like a couple more years. Yeah. Cause it's like go ahead.
I am so glad that Will Smith played Muhammad Ali. I am so glad.
I still feel it still sounds like, I swear to God, it sounds like you're kind of shitting on him. That I am so glad that
I'm not
playing Muhammad Ali, right? I'm
Will
so
Smith,
proud of him.
If you're listening to this, Will Smith, you could fucking pay off all my debt. You could kick my ass. You could fall in love with me. You could do whatever you want. I am sincerely so goddamn proud of you for making this film. Is that sincere enough? What do I gotta say?
I don't think you can say the word proud. That's the problem.
I'm a fucking middle class American. I am glad that was it. We're moving on. I'm glad Will Smith played Muhammad Ali. I don't think Michael Mann was the wrong director. I think this film, I'll watch it again and enjoy it. I just wish it would have been a little more efficient.
I did hear though that Oliver Stone was interested in this.
No shit.
And from what I understand, and this is just some internet shit, so whatever. But from what I understand, Oliver Stone wanted Denzel to play Ali, and what it wouldn't have been any good. But what happened was Hurricane came out, like while they were putting this whole thing
kind of
together.
smells like it kind of wafts of the Oliver Stone thing though.
Well, it does, but what happened is it came out and Denzel had already played this boxer, and then Oliver was just like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm not interested now." So they gave it to Michael Mann.
I'm not mad that Michael Mann made the movie.
I don't know what it is in your tone. I swear to God, I feel like you're playing a joke on me. Like the whole. What am I gonna do?
I love Michael Mann.
I do too. He makes fun, entertaining, almost there movies.
Beautiful, but it was just fucking flawed. Like it was just too much. I am happy he made the movie. This is hard. Because I really like this movie, but I think it's obvious that I just have a lot of issues with it.
It's like, Mike, we love you on a Sunday afternoon, but just stay there, please. Oh.
Last Mohicans, Heat, Primal Impact. I don't know. The list goes on and on.
It does. I gotta say though, like, look, in Ali, I think that Foreman, the George Foreman's character, is like the most dead-on look-alike of the whole movie.
I think this is a perfect segue into the next segment of the film.
Let's do it.
So there's been 2 natural camps decided as we prepare for this bout. I'm going to go first. We're doing our top 3 for this week, and it's our top three favorite moments from the film I've kind of ascribed myself to, which is Ali, and the 3 favorite moments that Joshua has ascribed himself to, which is the Hurricane. I'm going to go first because you brought it up. My number 3 is the casting of Ali's opponents. I think it's kind of like uncanny. I think uncanny is like undermining the casting of Joe Frazier, of George Foreman, and what's the first guy's name? I always forget his name.
Sonny Liston.
Like, that dude scares the shit out of me. Sonny Liston is scary as fuck. And like the way, like when Sonny Liston comes on screen, you're like, oh, that's Sonny Liston.
Yeah, like I was just doing a little looking into some stuff online and everything. That guy's first role was like he played like a boxer, like just like he was in the background of something. I just thought that was kind of fun, but he does have that look.
He just has like a mustache.
Yeah.
And like Sonny Liston was known for being like the rumor. There's a conspiracy that fight was like rigged.
Well, dude, I picked up on that in the movie. I was like, I had to stop it and rewind it because I remembered thinking like in that fight, like, what's up with Ali's eyes? Like, what the fuck happened? And when I was watching it for the second time, that scene, I hate to admit that because I definitely watched these
movies. That movie twice?
Shh.
Don't tell me my movie.
I'm a dork.
So proud of Will Smith. I am glad that Michael Mann made the definitive Muhammad Ali film. America, what do you want me to say?
Yeah, like I just all I see in my
convince
head is
myself,
like,
okay?
It's like the Nancy Pelosi side clap at the speech where she's like, "Oh, okay, I'm clapping for you. Good job, good job."
I look right now.
What are you doing?
I'm struggling with my conviction about my love for Michael Mann getting this project.
Oh goodness!
You told me Oliver Stone.
Right? Kind of makes you think, doesn't it? That would have been some good shit.
A different movie. But yeah, it's really cool as like a sports fan, as a history fan, to see Joe Frazier. That motherfucker looked just like Joe Frazier. That guy looked just like George Foreman, and it just brings this authenticity to it. Yeah, that's my third favorite thing about the movie, Ali.
Yeah, and I do think I felt like the casting choice for Don King was really good. I mean, they did a great job with the makeup
really well.
on Cosell. I mean, they did a good job. It's just really hard, it's like, fuck. It's tough when you're trying. It's hard when you see that.
Now that I'm thinking about Oliver
together.
Stone in wigs and portraying people and like conglomerates of characters, I think Oliver Stone might have fucked this up. I'm just interjecting here.
Dude, Oliver Stone doesn't always have the steadiest hand. We'll just put it that way.
I am so glad that Michael Mann was given the reins in the Muhammad Ali film.
Oh, Michael, man. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. I too am proud of Will Smith and Michael Mann.
Am I? Now I'm questioning myself. What's your number 3 favorite moment of the hurricane?
My number 3 favorite moment of the hurricane is the opening of the film. Like it really is like a fucking, to me, it's like a sinker. Like it grabs you. It definitely like hooks you in because it's got these kind of cool angular credits and there's this really like there's this like slick jazz vibe that's going on that kind of sounds, it puts you in the mindset of like like you're watching a private detective kind of film noir kind of vibe, right? And then you get this like almost homage to Raging Bull with the black and white, in the boxing ring, and Hurricane Carter looks like a badass with his black robe, and the contrast is punched just right. And this is just me nerding out on aesthetic stuff. Like that's all this number 3 pick is. And then you get hard cut to Reuben Carter in his jail cell, fucking padding his head with towels and putting on a fucking toboggan and shoving towels down his crotch, toilet paper in his teeth because they want to come in his fucking cell and they want to take his manuscript, and he's ready to fight fucking 30 prison guards, and he's telling them, you come in here, the first fucking 6 of you are going to fucking die. And then cut right back to the ring, and he's fighting, fight. And it's this cut back and forth. And also, quick little shout out. I can't remember this guy's name. I'm so sad that I'm forgetting it, but the prison guard from Shawshank, I'm sure he was glad to get a redemption shot and play like a good guy. You know what I mean? As a prison guard, because he definitely is a good prison guard.
He had Reuben's back.
Oh,
It's
so
like, he was like, can you put it on your crotch? Like, I won't let them touch you.
yes, and that's a beautiful part of this movie too, is the dignity he gets treated with by some of those people in the prison. But anyway, to finish my number 3, really, it caps off with after you kind of get the. Go ahead.
The actor's name is Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown. I knew he had a badass name too. I was like, this dude's got a badass name, and I can't remember.
God bless Clancy Brown.
Yeah. So I'm sure he was really happy to have a redemption song, right? Like, no doubt. But to cap it all off, like after you get this kind of back and forth between him as a fighter and then him in this prison cell, it sets this tone of his mentality. And then once the dust kind of settles on both those things, you get this fucking great pan. And it starts at the bottom of the prison and the lights go out and the amber lights come on so that they can all sleep. And the camera pans up the wall as he's narrating, talking about how he won't let them take who he is, and he's going to sleep while they're awake, and he's going to be awake while they're asleep, and all this stuff. And it like pans up to him finishing his memoir. And I fucking love that sequence. It's great. It's good fucking shit.
It's beautiful. It's a great pick.
Thank you.
I thought of it. I thought of you when it happened. I was like, Joshua appreciates this segment right here.
I did. I absolutely did.
My number 2 for Ali
Yes.
is the first 30 minutes of the film, which is ironic. For the first 27 minutes and about 46 seconds, there's almost zero back and forth dialogue. It's entirely a Sam Cooke montage. There is impositions of coloreds in the back of the bus and a setting of the scene of what the early to mid 1960s was like for people of color, superimposed on a classic R&B singer's voice. the rallying of a crowd, the enthusiasm of such crowd, and it moved me. And I think this film is guilty of biting off more than it could chew. I think this film is guilty of a lack of attention to detail and being probably a little self-masturbatory. Let's get real. But if I could just watch that first 27 minutes and 46 seconds, it made me cry.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but in that opening montage in there, like it's him running with his hood up and the gray sweatsuit, and he's just running through the streets, kind of training.
Just running. It's actually
good stuff.
It's revisited when he's in Africa.
In Africa, yep. With a lot more kind of
potency. Me so emotional. I'm a white middle class dude, but he's seeing black kids.
Yeah.
And he's seeing depictions of himself on the walls and knocking out George Foreman, and it's an obvious juxtaposition of moments. It's so powerful to me. It makes me really emotional. That's my number 2 pick.
I like it. My number 2, I'm going to go
The Hurricane.
For The Hurricane, I'm going to go with like a kind of because this movie is serious. There's not a lot of room to have fun in this movie, but there are a couple moments, and my favorite one, I just love it. I just love it. Hurricane has just gotten out of the army. He's feeling the swagger. He's a badass. He knows it. His body's a weapon. He's already declared it. And he walks into the bar, and he sees a beautiful woman. And her name is May Thelma. And he knows he needs to be with this woman. Shit. I fucking love it. He gets a couple of beverages. He walks over, and just before he can get there, dude takes his seat and tries to start chatting with May Thelma's friend. And he doesn't like that very much.
Get the fuck up out of my seat.
And my number 2 moment is the quote that he gives that guy. The guy looks around at the seat after he tells him to get out of. He's like, I don't see your name written on it anywhere. He said, it's because you're blind from the ass whooping I'm about to lay on you. Now get out of my seat. Bam! And he owns that guy too. And he like, and then the look when May Thelma's pulling him away, like, did you come here to dance or did you come here to fight? You came here to dance, didn't you? Come on over here with me. And he gives him that look like, yeah, that's right, motherfucker. The only thing taking me away from whooping your ass is this beautiful ass woman that's pulling me away. Girl. And you need to be thankful for it. And then she gets him to the other side of the room, and then he still takes a couple of steps back at him. Like, he's like, nah, you're getting this ass whooping, motherfucker.
That's because this guy's nickname is Hurricane. I would have taken twice as less time to get the fuck out of this man's way.
No.
Are you good, dude? Cool.
Yeah. Peace. He would have asked the first time, and I'd be like, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm going to go over here. Drink? Yeah. Did you need me to refill that for you? Yeah, he's a badass dude.
My number 1 pick for Ali is the fights, the boxing scenes.
Of course.
Specifically the tight shots on Ali's footwork early on. And the Liston fight that's a goosebump moment for me. In the Frazier fights, I think those are probably the most like evenly matched brawl out boxing sequences in the film, maybe of all time. You know, I'm not a big boxing expert, but that was billed as, you know, one of the greatest, most popular sporting events of the 20th century. But the Foreman fight is so intense because man walks you through Mo sacrificing his body. And what the film does is it shows you that his corner is fighting for him. Like, get off the ropes, Ali. What are you doing? But what the film does is it shows you with shots on his face, what he's enduring with his body. Like, Foreman's famous for, like, he's huge. Like, he's with him and Tyson are like the 2 hardest hitting human beings that have ever lived. And what you see is Ali knowing, I'm tough as fucking shit. My plan is to take all this pain, tie him up, tire him out, and then knock him out. It's the best part of the movie. You stand up, you're like, oh shit, like what's happening? It draws you in like watching a real sporting event. Yeah, it's my number 1.
Yeah, I mean, I'll to comment on that. Like, first off, like the Foreman scene in particular, like I got anxious watching that because you're into the story. You're at the end of the movie. You're watching this Foreman fight. When he's getting his ass whipped in those first few rounds, like it feels like you feel like you're in a fight. And even the first punch that Liston throws, like that very first punch of the film, like you feel like the cinematography of these boxing scenes is legit as fuck. And it's probably the best boxing cinematography in a film that you're gonna find. Like it's so good. It's so good at making you feel.
Raging Bull is like cinematic.
Yes, cinematic. It's lyrical.
This shit makes like I've seen the Creed movies and those are super fun and intense, but I prefer that. Like it's way more. I don't know. I just like I prefer it.
You prefer Ali to?
Yeah, dude, I think that shit's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, no,
I'm really proud of Michael Mann.
I'll tell you what, I'm inspired by whoever filmed that shit because
it's not
like
Michael Mann.
Those other boxing movies they're filming people box. This movie, this cinematography is boxing. The camera is boxing. And you feel it. It is absolutely a mega achievement in this film. It is. To me, this movie is great because Ali is great. Like, Muhammad Ali is great. He's the greatest. And the man was like a miracle. And the film is great just because of that, right? But the best thing in this film, aside from Ali, is the cinematography of those fight scenes. They're beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. So number one pick.
Yep. I think number one for me is probably just Reuben Carter. Like, I mean, seriously, like, but
he inspires you.
He does, but I guess, I mean, I want to say a kind of two-pronged event. Reuben Carter inspires me, but then honestly, the best thing in this entire movie is when he first goes to prison and he refuses to put on that fucking uniform and they put him in the hole for 90 days. And he has this incredible...
Dude, 90 days is 3 months.
Yes, 3 months. And like, I'm just going to say this for a second.
That's a long fucking time.
Everybody just heard. You just heard. I heard you say 3 months. Everybody heard me say 3. Stop for like 2 seconds, guys, and think about 3 months of your life in a tiny room that only has light for part of the day, and it's not even well lit, and all you have is a concrete slab and a fucking hole to piss in. That's it. That's all you have. No pillows.
I don't have a problem with anxiety, as a number of people in America do, but right now I do.
And Denzel does this insane shit because basically what's happening is he's splitting personalities, and you might even make a case that this film portrays him as almost a schizophrenic, and he's got the schizophrenic. Okay, make fun. Go ahead, asshole. I'm in the heat of moment talking here, okay?
I'll just translate for everyone else out there.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
He said a schizophrenic.
Thank you. Yeah, what he said. So anyway,
there's not a Y in that word.
Okay, cool. So he's got the Hurricane there, and like Hurricane's like this vicious character who's telling him like, I need to kill somebody, and then he's got this like young kid, like vulnerable character that's there. It's like he's going all over the place, and then in between it all, he's having this like, I mean, he's going fucking crazy, and the dude does an epic job of like putting that out on the screen, and it's definitely the best part of this movie. Like, it really is. And the fact that Reuben Carter endured that and came out on the other side, the principled individual that he is my number one moment. That's what I want to say.
I'm really glad you picked that because that's what I picked up on in the film, and I was like, I'm sure Josh will pick something more astute, but I think that means that I got it, because that would have been my number one pick. Was that?
Yeah,
sequence.
Dude, that shit is that's like, I feel like if I were gonna teach a class on acting, which I could never do because I'm not qualified, but like theoretically, like that would be a clip I would show. Like, hey, watch this. Like this guy is acting with himself, and look at it just. The eyes, this man's eyes are insane. He carries so much weight with his fucking facial expressions and his brow. It's insane.
Have you seen Denzel do Shakespeare?
No, but now I'm peeking. I'm about to YouTube that shit. I bet that's great.
Pretty incredible.
YouTube rabbit hole for tonight.
I believe it's Midsummer Night's Dream.
I'm literally going to watch Muhammad Ali's greatest clips and Denzel reading Shakespeare for the rest of the night tonight. That's going to be my night.
Same. It's such a weird experience, but it's also amazing. He's an amazing actor. Fuck.
He is. He really is.
Thank you so much for this discussion about this film.
Did you give your number one?
Yeah. The fights.
Okay. Oh, yeah. All right.
So who do we think won between these two films?
Well, who do we think won between these two films?
The fight. Knockout, unanimous decision, no contest.
Between the two films, right?
Yeah.
Between the two films, it's hard, but I am going to go with, I think that it is a split decision in favor of the Hurricane. That's my opinion.
I think I'm going to agree with you.
Whoa! I brought him around! Yeah!
I love Ali, and I will probably watch it again in the next year. Just because I like glossy films. You know I do.
But now we kind of want to see somebody else make an Ali film, right? Like a little bit.
Before I commit to that opinion, I just want to say I am so proud of Will Smith.
Proud.
Let's take a little break and take some questions from the mailbag.
Oh, mailbag.
All right, Joshua, mailbag's your baby. Take it away, bud.
All right. So before we get into some questions, I want to go over a couple little housekeeping items here. Okay. So these questions are all coming in on Instagram right now, but just in case any of you guys are listening to us out there and you're not on Instagram because fuck Instagram and Facebook and all that good shit, just if you have a question, just like kind of check out what movies we're doing, and then you can just shoot us an email at thedigestshow@gmail.com. So pretty simple. Name of the show @gmail.com. So anyway, all of these questions are from Instagram. I'm going to leave the burden on the questionnaire to listen up and find out, get their recognition that way to find out if their question got chosen. I'm not calling people out anymore. So anyway, to kind of sum up our show for us a little bit, we talked about which one. Why?
Why are we calling them out? Is it because of me?
No, because I keep forgetting to
be honest.
Because I know who some of them are, but I keep forgetting. I don't want to like call people's name out because we have return questioners first. And secondly,
Lauren.
Not Lauren. I can't remember.
Really?
The first one is,
damn it.
They know who they are, man. It just needs to be this way. The first one is from, okay, how about this? From North Carolina.
Oh.
Okay. From North Carolina, we have a question. Who's the better actor, Denzel or Will? Which is the better actor? Chase.
I am the better actor.
Between you and I, yes. But between Denzel and Will, who's the better actor?
Didn't you ask me not? The answer is Denzel Washington. Didn't you ask me not to answer this question?
No,
I'm confused.
No, I think the answer is Denzel. Yes.
I don't think it's like, that might be the easiest thing I've been asked to figure out all day.
Well, yes, but I want to say one thing. Like, I agree that Denzel is the better actor, but
I'm proud of Will. I just
proud of Will. I swear to God, Will Smith is gonna kick your ass one day. He's gonna come find you. He's like, I literally do not need your proud asshole. Okay. But anyway, there's something to be said. I just want to say there is something to be said about Will Smith. Like, Denzel again had that string. He set the world on fire. But like, Will Smith also did a lot of endearing comedies. Like, I mean, Hitch. greatest romantic comedy. Men in Black is fun as fucking shit. Plus, he's the Fresh Prince. Like,
Will Smith is like an
he's
icon.
the shit. Yeah. So
Does
like,
anyone not like Will Smith?
so it's hard like to answer that question. It's like almost I actually my answer is this: Denzel's the better actor, but I think Will Smith is the better movie star. Yeah, that's what
I'll
I
agree
think.
with that.
Yeah,
I'll
that's what
agree
I
with
think.
that.
So,
Cool.
listening out there in North Carolina, you've asked us a question before, but that's your answer.
Who asked that?
I don't remember. Okay, I smoked too much pot. Leave me alone.
Sorry.
Okay. Now, a similar question, but I think it's worth giving a little thought to is who had the better transformation into their character. And I think we all know that answer. Right?
Will Smith.
Yeah. Well, immaculate. And I think the reason I wanted to get that one in there is Denzel just got a lot of love, but like, Will, seriously, we're so proud of you.
No, but truly, like, we're having a laugh about it and stuff, but
it's amazing.
His recitations of the rhymes and with the media and his body and the boxing.
He gets his he gets
amazing.
his physical and his speech cadence. He gets the cadence of Muhammad Ali right, which
Rumble, bro, man, Rumble.
Exactly.
Like, and just doing that open mouth thing, and it's we're laughing about it and everything, but like, it's the reason that I was gravitated towards the film, and the reason that I'll watch it again and have a good time, because I love sports and I love a sports movie and I love a glossy motion picture more than Joshua. I'm just saying that definitively. It's because of his performance. It's just so much fun to watch. It's because I love icons in sports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's the closest I'll get to watching, a reincarnation of Muhammad Ali probably. And it's great, man.
It is, and I think you should be fine. Look, if you switch your mind back, if you take it back and you go back to Ali, like, because I thought dead cold,
little asshole.
I really thought dead cold that you were gonna stick to your guns and that your reason was basically just gonna be because Ali is about Ali. Like, that's it. That's all you need right there.
Yeah, I switched back. Ali.
Yeah. The ultimate.
Sorry, I'm an emotional guy.
What matters is what's on the record at the end of the show. That's
all
all
that
that
matters. At
matters.
the end of the show, my vote is Ali. I will watch that movie again probably in 6 months.
I like it.
Because I love
like it. I like it.
Sorry.
Okay, so no, but for real, kudos, Will. Like, no shit. Like, definitely win that topic. The third question, we have 4, but the third one you already answered, which you basically answered. Ali, did the movie need all the love interest? No, it didn't.
Nope.
That's your answer.
Who asked that?
That one was from Oregon, and then our final question is from Oregon. And the final question is...
Are these people I know?
Yeah.
Both of them?
Yeah. Well, Matt, maybe. Anyway, question number 4. The final question of the day.
Is one of them Seth?
No, man. You just need to worry more about the questions and not about the people who ask them.
This is a free flow segment. Seth has become my friend. I need to know if one of these questions was Seth.
Not Seth.
Damn it, Seth! Contribute, motherfucker!
Anyway, question number 4. This is my favorite question. What are your thoughts on the Canadian group educating Lesra?
Really awkward.
I was a little concerned about this arrangement. I still haven't quite figured it out.
Why is the one female person just addicted to nicotine?
And like, what? I mean, do they?
Why is Liev Schreiber there? Why is that one really famous Irish actor there?
Have they sworn themselves to some weird celibacy? Is this like a Morrissey? Like, I'm going to just educate people and refurbish houses. Like, what is going on with this? I mean, by the end of the movie, though, I kind of feel like they must just be really good people, right? Like, they must be. And also, was she falling in love with Reuben? Like, I am so confused by this.
I got that vibe, too.
She was definitely falling in love with him, right? Like,
consecrated in my vote for Ali being a better movie. Because that's fucking weird.
The Canadian group is weird. So anyway, that's it for the mailbag this week.
Cool. Well, I'm glad we touched on the Canadian group because we didn't in our discourse about the films.
Yeah. I thought that was an interesting question for sure.
I think it's kind of glaring. It didn't age well. It's weird.
It's odd. It's definitely odd.
Let's wrap it up, man.
Yeah.
We had a great fight night. That was super fun. I thank all of you for joining us for it and for listening and for the mailbag questions. Joshua.
Yes.
To the birds.
Hallelujah.
Do something to Joe Frazier that might be illegal. My lawyers told me to bring a bail bondsman to get me out of jail. They might put my tail in jail and get me out on bail after what I do to Joe Frazier.